Stephen Barclay has been affirmed as the new Brexit Secretariat as Theresa May seeks to fill in posts in her office. The MP for Polar East Cambridgeshire and Keep advocate had been serving as a secretary at the Division for Public Health and Public Thoroughness. He replaces Dominic Raab, who obedient on Thursday above Mrs May's departure treaty for Brexit. A representative for Number 10 specified how Mr Barclay would attention on the national preparations quite rather than talks. Labour's dark Brexit Secretariat Sir Keir Starmer told, Stephen Barclay's assignment changes completely anything. Following 2 years of negotiating, the main secretary has unsuccessful to supply a Brexit transactions. How can team the supporting of Parliament? A new person in the Brexit division will do anything to give the separated by the government behind along. The ad comes following Dominic Raab was mentioned the new Job and Pensions Secretariat, substitute Esther McVey, who as well obedient above the PM's Brexit plans on Thursday. Ms Raab told she was impressed to be taking into account the part, and saw it as her job to attempt to ferris of the issues in versatile letter of credit. Stephen Hammond will get above of Mr Barclay at the Division for Public Health and Public Thoroughness. By the government as well announced replacements for 2 younger ministers who obedient above Mrs May's transactions. John Penrose will accede the Northern Ireland office space, substitute Shailesh Vara, and Kwasi Kwarteng will go to the Division for Entering the EU, substitute Suella Braverman. Mr Barclay, a ex-investment banker, has as well detained the posts of Town Secretary and a stick at the Exchequer. But he as well outlined Mr Barclay as ultra-loyal, possessing never rebelled versus by the government. Environmental Secretariat Michael Gove is understood to include rotated downward the part of Brexit Secretariat next Mr Raab's leaving. Mr Barclay becomes the tertiary Brexit Secretariat with the part was created, following Mr Raab and David Davis, who obedient above Mrs May's Brexit plans. In July Mrs May coordinated a project departure treaty for Brexit in her office on environment, that had already been signed off by negotiators of both of the UK and EU. But it led to a clearance of several Brexit supporting MPs, consisting Mr Raab and Ms McVey. About 20 Tory MPs include openly named for a voice of no trust in the main secretary, in more than mind to include spelled to the president of the backbench 1922 board to urge for a voice on her management. But Mrs May answered to critics' proverb she will remain in Number 10 and see the transactions via Ms Raab named on her associate to believe once again on send letters versus the PM, proverb her transactions was a pragmatic answer to outgoing the Europe Association. She added, "The is not a period for change our lead. The is a period for hauling along, for manufacturing certainly we recall who we are there to be, who we are there to assist, the entire of the nation."